Putin visit Russian troops and military headquarters in Kherson. CNN, Russian President Vladimir Putin visited the troops at the military base in the southern Kherson region on Tuesday, at a critical stage in the war in Ukraine as Kiev prepared to launch a spring offensive. In his second public trip to territory occupied since last year's invasion, the Kremlin leader spoke to commanders from the airborne forces of Russia's Dnieper army unit, while also meeting with other senior officers, Russian state media TASS reported. One of the purposes of the visit was to get a report from military officers on Kherson, which is partly held by Russia and the southeastern Zaporizhia region, according to a TASS. In video released by the Kremlin, Putin's combi passes the sign that indicates that he visited the Henichesk, a town in southern Kherson that has become a headquarters of Russian forces. I do not want to distract you from your direct duties related to the command and control, Putin said to senior commanders. Therefore, we are working here in the business-like manner, briefly but concretely. It is important for me to hear your opinion on how the situation is developing, to listen to you, to exchange information. I would ask you to start your report with the situation in the Kherson direction, then in the Zaporizhia direction. Russian troops occupy part of both Kherson and Zaporizhia, with some analysts predicting that the front lines in southern Ukraine will be the focus of Kiev's counter-offensive in the coming months. Russian President Vladimir Putin visited the headquarters of the Dnieper army group in the Kherson region on Tuesday as Moscow's forces combat low morale and dwindling ammunition stocks. Putin left to speak to the Colonel General Oleg Makarevich Wright, commander of the Dnieper Group of Forces, on April 18, 2023. Further east, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky visited the soldiers at the hospital in the beleaguered town of Avdiivka in the Donetsk region, where he awarded the medal to injured troops. Zelensky listened to the report from the commander of the Donetsk Operational Tactical Group and talked to servicemen of the Marines Airborne Assault, Mechanized, and Artillery Unit. I have the honor to be here today to thank you for your service for defending our land, Ukraine, our families. Congratulations on the holidays, on Easter. I wish you only victory. This is what I wish for every Ukrainian. This is what is very important to all of us. He told the soldiers. He told the soldiers, according to the president's office. I wish good health to all of you and your families, I'm sincerely grateful on behalf of every Ukrainian for the great path that you overcome every day. Avdiivka has been the site of intense fighting for months and is largely destroyed, although some 1,800 civilians still remain despite effort to persuade them to leave. There are no safe routes out of the town, but Ukrainian forces still control the route to the west. The town is under fire almost daily by Russian artillery, but Ukrainian defense have largely endured despite a marginal advance from Moscow to the north. Putin visited the National Guard headquarters in the occupied Luhansk region in eastern Ukraine. President Volodymyr Zelensky right visit at the front line in Avdiivka in eastern Ukraine on Tuesday. The troops from both sides are grappling with the physical exertion and the depleted ammunition stocks in the grinding war of attrition that the US and Western allies do not expect will end this year. Russian forces have reinforced the defenses in the south, including extensive mining of territory along the front lines, according to Ukrainian and Western officials. US intelligence document leaked online in recent weeks also suggests broad infighting between Russian officials. The document the document reported by the New York Times, which CNN has not seen, suggests the disagreement between Russia's Federal Security Service, called FSB, and the Defense Ministry over Russia's casualty count for the war in Ukraine. The Kremlin said it doubted the reliability of the report. On Tuesday, the Putin said he will ask Mikhail Yuri Yurievich Teplinsky, the head of Russia's airborne forces called the VDV, to express his thoughts because he was on the front line for quite a long time. Until recently, Teplinsky was thought to have fallen out of favor with the Russian Defense Ministry and likely dismissed from his role in a sign of discord amid Moscow's stuttering campaign in Ukraine. However, UK intelligence suggests last week that his position was reinstated. Teplinsky is likely one of the few senior Russian generals widely respected by the rank and file. His recent turbulent career suggests intense tensions between the factions within the Russian general staff about Russia's military approach in Ukraine. The UK MOD said. The MOD added that he was previously dismissed from the threat theater in January. Teplinsky was one of the commanders involved in the withdrawal of Russian forces from part of Kherson, west of the Dnipro River, in November 2022. Moscow's retreat from Kherson marked a humiliating setback for Putin, but the manner of the withdrawal was well conducted with minimal losses. The Institute for the Study of War, the Washington based analytical group, said Teplinsky remains highly unlikely to restore the VDV to its prior status as the elite force due to widespread losses to the most elite Russian units that are now being restaffed with fully trained, mobilized personnel. He said his reappearance additionally suggests that the Russian military command is likely seeking to place increased emphasis, emphasis on the role of VDV element in Russian offensive operations. The UK MOD noted that Teplinsky's return to command in Ukraine will not be limited to VDV units, but likely meant that Teplinsky will try to promote the DVD's traditional role as an elite force. CNN's Olga Voitovich contributed reporting.